It's not the paycheck. All that is an excuse. And I think secretly you know that. You got to get a little bit more abstract sometimes. You got to get primal and primitive with things. We are human beings, and human beings are mammals. We have very similar mechanisms that a common ape has. Limbic system. That fight or flight reflex shows itself in the most subtle ways sometimes, in ways that we're not even consciously aware of. We don't have to be consciously aware of it for it to be the case. You're not paying me enough. All that is a cheap excuse. It's the cheap exit. It's the same exact mechanism that is at play when you're trying to sell, when you're trying to sell a customer on something, and you say, "Ma'am, you really need this repair done. It's vital." And she says, "I'm going to go ask my husband. I have to go ask my husband. My son's a mechanic." All that is her brain desperately trying to get her out of that situation. It's that fight or flight reflex showcasing itself in a very ridiculous manner, to be honest with you. Instead of just saying, "I don't want to be here right now," they say the most crazy things. The most crazy thing. I was thinking about something. Anyway, I've heard some crazy things. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is the same mechanisms are at play here. Let's follow logic. You've been paying this technician a certain way. This is what we agreed upon. You will get paid a flat rate. You will get paid by the repair, whatever it is. It's been working for him it worked for him the first year. It worked for him the second year. Worked for him the third year, fourth year, fifth year. Why now? There's seen to be an issue. Let's trace it back to you, because that's what it boils down to. Sometimes you got to get primal. Sometimes you got to get very fucking primal. You got to speak to the root of what makes a man a man. Let's go back to history. The beginning of mankind. We're the ones that were out there hunting just to eat, just to fucking live. Hunting, trapping, gathering. That's what a human being does, ultimately. Now, we do it in different ways today because we've developed technology and civilization, but it wasn't always the case. When you hit that guy, when that guy hits you with that, "You're not paying me enough, I have to leave," that's just an excuse. Now, here's a caveat though. Money, pay is definitely important, but it's actually kind of it's kind of base level shit. Though, and here's another caveat. There does exist a group of individuals that are only in it to make as much money for themselves as possible. And I would say that those individuals doesn't matter how good they are. It doesn't matter how good they can turn that wrench. It doesn't matter how good they are at the repairs. That is not a person that you want working for you. That's why we developed a custom personality quiz. And it's based on Hexaco, it's based on DISC, it's based on Ocean, it's based on what's called standout assessment, and it's based on behavioral psychology, evolutionary psychology. This shit's fucking deep, and the questions come off as very typical personality quiz. But you got 10 types that you can end up with. You take the test, you get a type. 10 type. There's one type, it's called the saboteur. You get that, you ain't coming with me. And we give this same personality quiz to shop owners. They give this quiz, and we test them, see where you are. What do you rank? What type do you get? And then we give them this personality quiz to give to their employees, the ones that already work for them, and the ones that they're hiring. There does exist a group of humans that are only in it for themselves, but that is generally not the case. Let's get primitive. Let me get back focused here. a good technician, and I'm not talking about some fucking shop traveler or a fucking saboteur. I'm talking about a good technician, a solid guy. He will only leave for a couple of reasons: disrespect, disorder, no growth. It really boils down to that: disrespect, disorder, or no growth. Those things matter on a primitive, primal, human being make-up DNA level. We were the hunters. We were part of a pack. We got to feel respected in order to live. If he feels like you're not respecting him, if he feels like he's not growing with you, if he feels like there's too much chaos around me, he ain't gonna want to be there, even if he's contributing to the disorder. That's when you, as the owner, need to be the owner. You need to be the overseer and be like, let's talk about this. Anyway, I tend to get long-winded sometimes. Back on the subject here. If you have a good technician, he's the guy, shop foreman, for example. He's the guy that gets all the repairs done. There's this guy, Nelson, 30-plus year ASC technician. This motherfucker had an ASC longer than I've been alive. So this motherfucker knows what he's doing. And everybody knew it. The owner himself knew it. Service manager knew it. All the advisors knew it. All the other technicians. And they were fucking on beast mode too. They all knew it. They all went to him. It was something that words really can't explain fully, because humans are very complex. He felt respected. He felt like there was a sense of belonging. He felt like, I need to be here. There were customers that came to the shop specifically for him. That's growth. He stuck around for that very reason. When it got super fucking slow and we didn't have any cars coming in, it wasn't shit to do. I saw this motherfucker Nelson one day, the fucking beast mode mechanic. And when I say beast mode, he's more like a fucking calm beast. He was like, everything is very precise. It was like he was very consciously aware of what he was doing. Like, this goes here, this goes here. Don't let me, whatever. Anyway, I remember seeing him one time fucking mopping the shop floor. You the shop foreman. What you talking about? What you mopping the floor for? That's a GS job. There's a psychological principle. And you can observe this within yourself, and you can observe it with every fucking human being to ever exist. It's called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's a pyramid. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have survival. Right above survival, you have safety. After safety, it's belonging. After belonging, it's esteem. After esteem, it's higher purpose. You have to treat everybody, every person that you encounter, more so your technicians, the ones who are your bread and butter. You have to be aware of this pyramid, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So at the bottom, you have survival. That's the paycheck. That's where the paycheck lies. Only in survival. I just need to live. I need to eat. I need to provide. I got to do what I have to do. Then you have safety. That's also, money does trickle into that a little bit. The wage does trickle into that a little bit. I got to make sure that I'm set. I got to have a savings account. I gotta make sure that if something gets fucked up, I can bounce back relatively quickly. That's the only thing that money accounts for, the wage. That's the only thing that pay has to do with anything. So if those things are met, if he's surviving, if he's safe, if he ain't running out of gas, he can afford a repair, his house isn't fucking caving in on him, you're good. You're paying him enough. When it gets a little bit more trippy is when it gets to belonging and when it gets to esteem. That's where you have to really focus and dial in on it. Your technician, even if it's the most low-level technician that you have, especially if it's the most low technician that you have, he needs to feel like he belongs. That's the only way that he's going to stay long enough to survive. That's the only way he's going to stay long enough to form a safety net for himself, so to speak. He has to feel like he belongs. Because once he feels like he belongs, that's where the esteem comes. That's how he becomes your next foreman. That's how he sticks with you until the end of time. Are you investing in this guy's growth, whatever that may be? Just fucking take him out to lunch. Ask him about himself. Fucking dog. There's another principle. And I really save this for fucking paying clients. But I'm gonna say it anyway, because fuck it. It's called the reciprocity bias. I do something for you, or rather, you do something for me, I feel obligated to do something in return. I feel like I gotta pay you back. There's something called the I think it's a potluck ceremony, where two tribes, they would get together for a feast, and they would do their best to outgive one another. They're thinking it's like because I am so nice and I'm so noble. Really what it is it's a human makeup thing. Reciprocity bias. You give me this, I feel like I gotta give you something back. I give you this, you feel like you gotta give me something back. Back and forth. You as the owner, though, in contrast to a technician or an employee, a service advisor, anybody that works for you, it only takes a little bit because you have they see you, human beings are very hierarchical. We cannot help but, you get a group of humans anywhere. They've done studies on this. You get a group of humans, there's always going to be a hierarchy that's formed. You can see this in high school cliques. You can see it in working environments. You can see this in the pack, the tribe. You want to get ancient, you want to get primal, you can see this in the fucking tribe. There's always a hierarchy that's formed. So you as the owner, you have people look to you by default at a higher, they put you on a pedestal. Even if they don't mean to, even if they don't realize they're doing it, they do that. So it only takes a little bit. You only need to give a little bit, and not money, because that's a fucking default, that is a given. I'm talking about a little bit. You only need to give just a little bit more. For example, let's say it's a fucking technician's birthday, if you want to get easy. Bring a fucking cake and have everybody sing happy birthday to his fucking ass. Even if he doesn't want to listen, even if he feels awkward about it. Everybody's gonna sing happy birthday to this motherfucker. And he gonna get a cake. You should randomly, every once in a while, buy a tool for the motherfucker. Any technician. If you have an advisor, buy him a t-shirt. buy him a gift. You know your technicians better. I don't know your fucking technicians. I don't know your advisors. Buy them something with your own money that shows I have my eye on you. You matter. It only takes a little bit. You're the owner. That's really all it takes. Like, this doesn't even need to be a fucking 30-minute video. All it really takes is for you to understand Maslow's hierarchy of needs and the reciprocity bias. And you're going to keep people there. Unless you have a fucking stingy, dumb fuck who's there to just get money and that's it. He ain't trying to grow with the pack. He's not there to train the next technician. You know, that's another thing. I've seen, tell me how crazy this is. There are owners that exist like this. You have the best fucking technician, even a technician that's not the best, but he's pretty fucking good. And he's training the GS, for example. He's training the GS, or he's bringing somebody up with him. I've seen owner get in the way of that. Like, nah, you sure you want to do that? Or, nah, don't do it this way. Or maybe you should do it like this. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Listen, even if you're an owner that has been in the game for a long time and you've turned wrenches, you can turn wrenches better than the foreman, stay in your lane now. You're the owner now. You're not on the shop floor every day with these guys. You have a lot more to worry about. You got to worry about KPIs and shit. You got to worry about scaling. You got to worry about marketing and all that shit. You leave that shop foreman alone. I've seen where an owner literally steps in the fucking way of a fucking technician showing another technician who's lower in with regard to skill how to do something. Please. That's when we get down to disrespect. And the technician may look at it like, okay, well, he knows more than me. He's a fucking owner. He should know more. Authority. I submit to authority. So he may not even really think about it consciously, but his nervous system is telling him there is a problem here. I feel disrespected. I feel like this ain't a path for me. And he may stick around for a little bit. He may even stick around for a while. But ask yourself this. Are your technicians distant? Do they kind of feel like they're not really fucking with you? If that's the case, you and you alone are the issue.